So this first question is asking which protein structure involves the interaction between amino acid R groups. So this is referring to, in the first unit, the 4 levels of protein folding and structure. So we know that amino acids need to be strung together to make a protein, and this has to be folded into the right shape so that it can do its function. If we were to just write out the sequence of amino acids that are in the protein, so for example, methionine, arginine, leucine, that kept going, that's going to be what's known as our primary structure. So it involves no folding or interaction, it's just the sequence of amino acids if you were to just write it out. Our secondary structure is going to be the first step in the interactions and the folding, but this secondary structure is going to involve hydrogen bonds between the backbone of the amino acid. So our secondary structure is going to be H bonds and our backbone. So that means if I draw out the standard structure of an amino acid, it has a central carbon, our carboxyl group, and then a nitrogen group, and its R group right at the top here. The backbone are these 3. So these backbone ones, these 3 molecules here, if they interact with the backbone of another amino acid that's later in the protein, that will be known as its secondary structure. So our tertiary structure is actually going to be the interaction between the variable R groups. So the answer for 1 is going to be C. So the tertiary structure involves our R group here, and our R group is any variable group that makes the amino acid different from the other amino acids. So there's 20 of them, and they each have variable R groups that sort of set them apart. It can be anything from just a hydrogen to a ring structure. And if the R group of one interacts with the R group of another in the protein, it'll cause it to fold, and that'll be what's known as our tertiary structure. So therefore, the answer of 1, which protein involves the interaction between the amino acid R groups, that's going to be our tertiary structure. As for the quaternary structure, this doesn't involve any folding of the actual protein. It's for multi-subunit proteins. So if you have a already fully formed tertiary structure protein, if it wants to meet up with another one to make a multi-subunit protein, that's what's going to be known as its quaternary structure. So it's just multiple proteins sort of coming together to make a bigger protein. That's going to be the quaternary structure. And so that's number 1.